Thank you all. It is now my honor to introduce Ambassador Nikki Haley. All of you have heard when she first came in, her first speech about the fact that no longer will the UN be used to attack Israel day in, day out. That changed when she came in. As we mentioned, she was a breath of fresh air for us and a whole different approach to the UN. I think all of us realize how important she is to the Jewish people, and we cannot have a better friend than Nikki Haley representing the United States in the UN. I'd like you all to again welcome her very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that very nice welcome. I want to welcome all of you to New York from across the world. To have over 90 countries represented here is absolutely amazing. Your presence here is a huge testament to your dedication to a cause that we all know is very important. I want all of you to know that you could not have a better leader as your president than Ambassador Ronald Lauder. And I'm thrilled to be side by side again with your ambassador, Danny Danone, who's been fantastic to work with. I've met with Ambassador Lauder in my office at the UN, and I've found his counsel to be very wise and very helpful. I can assure you that his viewpoints are widely respected at the highest levels of the American government, as well as around the world. It's always a special treat for me to be in the company of the Jewish community. One of the reasons why is that the Jewish and Indian communities are really very similar. Both of us are very close-knit. We're very family-oriented. We have strong work ethics. We highly value education for our children. But on a side note, we're also both stubborn, and neither of us back down from a fight. I'm particularly happy to speak today following the Secretary General's appearance here on Sunday, the first for a UN Secretary General at a World Jewish Congress conference. Secretary General Guterres is a good partner. He is committed to fighting anti-Semitism and bigotry in all its forms. We're very fortunate to have him at the UN. It's still very early in my time as ambassador, but I think I can safely say that it's a new day for Israel at the United Nations. I know that it's a new day for Israel at the United States mission to the United Nations. Before I was confirmed as ambassador, I watched in horror as the Security Council passed Resolution 2334, and the U.S. stood by and allowed it to happen. I can say with complete and total confidence, those days are over. The United States will no longer be silent as Israel is unfairly attacked at the United Nations. Silence is not my thing anyway, but that's especially true when it comes to standing up for America's friends. And we have no better friend in the Middle East than Israel. The anti-Israel bias that has existed for so long at the UN is cut from the same cloth as the BDS movement and the global rise in anti-Semitism. They all seek to delegitimize Israel. They are all efforts to intimidate her friends and embolden her enemies. The UN Charter commits member states to, quote, respect human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without a distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion, unquote. Everyone pays lip service to these words, of course. Everyone claims to support human rights. But when it comes time to singling out a country for violating these rights, the amount of hypocrisy is just unbelievable. Israel is singled out more than Iran, Syria, and North Korea is just shocking, and it undermines the entire credibility of the United Nations. However, pushing back against the bias is easier than people may think. There's really no magic to it. All you have to do is tell the truth. The truth is there, and that is there is only one true democracy in the Middle East. There is only one country in the region that grants equal justice under the law. There is only one country that fully respects the rights of women and religious minorities. As long as I'm America's representative at the UN, I'm going to stand for human rights, and I'm going to stand for the truth. And that means I'm going to stand for Israel. I felt that same way when I was governor of South Carolina. I'm proud that my home state led the nation in taking on the BDS movement. We passed a law in 2015 that unapologetically upholds the values that Israel and the United States share. We were the first in the nation to do that. We said that we will not use taxpayer funds to do business with any company that discriminates on the basis of race, color, religion, gender, or national origin. And make no mistake, that is exactly what the BDS movement does. Getting rid of Israel bias at the UN is closely connected to getting rid of the Israel obsession at the UN. Every month, the Security Council convenes a meeting on the Middle East, and every month, the meeting turns into an Israel bashing session. The Middle East is a region that is home to a disproportionate number of conflicts in the world, and those conflicts have absolutely nothing to do with Israel. That is where our focus should be. The United States is the president of the UN Security Council this month, so I get to chair the Security Council meetings. Well, last week I decided that if I was going to be chairing this meeting on the Middle East, I was not going to be part of the same old tired talking points. I told my colleagues that if we were going to speak honestly about conflict in the Middle East, we had to start with who was most responsible for that conflict, and that party is Iran. Iran and its terrorist militia partner, Hezbollah, conspire together to destabilize the Middle East. In Lebanon, Hezbollah uses civilian men, women, and children to shield its illegal arsenals of rockets. In Syria, Hezbollah, under Iran's instruction, fights side by side with Assad as they slaughter the Syrian people. Iran is the threat that should be taking up the time of the Security Council. Hezbollah is the destabilizing force that should be the focus of our monthly meetings. Together, Iran and Hezbollah are the source of human rights violations and security threats. That should be the obsession of the United Nations. That was my message to the Security Council last week, and I hope they take it to heart. But the United States is not waiting to focus its attention and its power on the real source of instability in the Middle East. And with the issue of human rights and Israel, it is the simple truth that will guide the United States policy towards Iran, both inside the UN and out. The truth is that Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism. The truth is that Iran is the #1 source of instability in the Middle East. The facts are this: Israel has the right to exist in peace and security. Israel is America's best friend in the Middle East. Israel and America both seek peace. Anti-Semitism must be ended in all of its forms in every place on the planet. My job is simply to state the truth. I am grateful to the World Jewish Congress for being a partner in this noble cause. I look forward to speaking with you again, and I look forward to continuing the fight. Thank you, and God bless you very much.
I think if Ambassador Haley was here yesterday morning, I might not have won as president of the World Jewish Congress. Ms. Haley, on behalf of all of us, you make us all proud, and this was probably one of the best speeches I've ever heard at any of our sessions. On behalf of all of us, we say thank you. Toda rabah. Now it's